2019 Kia NBA Most Valuable Player goes to Giannis Antetokounmpo.
For the first time in 25 years, the same player won the regular season MVP, the scoring title, and now he's your finals MVP. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Nikola, 3 MVPs and a championship in 4 years. What a run.
Have you noticed how the NBA MVP race doesn't really feel American anymore? Look at Castle right with him. Dodges a 3, pucks it in. Lucid dodges from downtown on the break. Remain. Oh, goes back. Oh no, and puts it down. Shai deciding what he wants to do. Spinning on random, got inside. That's not super relevant to an NBA game, but oh, how about Jokić with an incredible pass? Every season, the list looks less like the NBA we grew up with and more like a global all-star game. Jokić from Serbia.
Jokić from Serbia.
This brother, Jokić, I mean, just a big tub of lard, just shoving people around. You know, no six-pack, ain't stealth built or anything like that. He's just big and strong. You know, waddle. He don't even walk. He waddles and stuff. You just look at him, and you can't stop him. Yeah. There's nothing you can do.
Luka from Slovenia. Nothing shocks me about this game. And not Juke Drim. It's still loose. Luka got it. He did it. He did it. He did it. And the improbable comeback by Dallas to tie it with 1 second left. Giannis repping Greece and Nigeria. Oh, he did. Wembanyama, the French experiment, who moves like a video game glitch. 14 of 18 to make it 6 of their 8 threes. Wembanyama. Oh my gosh. With a cramp. When you see Wembanyama play, there's something you've never seen in your life. You're gonna see one time, and I mean, oh my goodness, he crams. And Shai, the calm Canadian assassin, who's sitting comfortably near the top. Then it hits you.
Comfortably near the top, then it hits you.
A lot of hard work, a lot of hours in the gym. This isn't just a win for me, this is a win for my family, this is a win for my friends, this is a win for everybody that was in my corner growing up. This is a win for the fans, the best fans in the world. Love you.
Wait, where are the Americans? This is supposed to be their league. Sure, they still run the arenas, the culture, the jersey sales, the mixtape moments, but the MVP trophies, those packed up, crossed the ocean, and haven't made it back. And it's not some random fluke. Every year, the MVP talk gets more international, to the point where English might not even be the main language among the finalists. Some of these guys don't say bro, they're saying Brighton, Frey, or mate. So what's going on? Has the NBA quietly turned into a European-style league? Are international players really running things now? And if so, what did that say about American basketball today? We breaking it all down from why the MVP race looks so global to how the voting actually works. Because here's the thing most fans don't realize. The MVP isn't a highlight contest or a popularity vote. It's a political, complex, and surprisingly emotional process. And understanding that is where this whole story really begins. Before we talk about why international players keep snatching MVPs, we've got to clear something up. Because most NBA fans don't actually know how the MVP is picked. It's not about who had the flashiest dunk or the most viral highlight. The MVP is decided by about 100 media people, writers, broadcasters, and analysts who live and breathe basketball. Each one ranks their top 5 players with points assigned to each spot. Add up all the votes, and boom, that's your MVP. But here's the catch. It's not just about stats. If numbers alone decided it, James Harden would have had a shelf full of trophies by now. MVP voting is this messy mix of stats, team success, storyline, and a little bias. Win a lot, and your odds rise. Miss games, and you out. But if your story hits hard, carrying your team, proving everyone wrong, voters eat that up. It's like the Oscars of basketball. Half skill, half story. What's funny is players don't even need to campaign. The media does it for them. One hot month, one emotional interview, and suddenly everyone's whispering MVP like it's a rumor that might be true. So when someone's called an MVP candidate, it's not just about points or highlights, it's about checking every box. Elite numbers, winning impact, and that emotional pull that makes people believe the hype. Now that we know how it really works, the real question hits harder. If America created this award, why aren't Americans winning it anymore? To find out, we've got to rewind back 20 years to see how the MVP race went from red, white, and blue to a full-on global takeover. If you look back at the last 20 years of MVP winners, you can actually see the moment the NBA stopped being America's playground and turned into the world stage. In the mid-2000s, the MVP race was an all-American club. Kobe, LeBron, Durant, Curry, the legends.
Sure, Steve Nash slid in as the polite Canadian guest, and Dirk showed up from Germany like the exchange student who accidentally took over the whole class. But outside of them, it was pure red, white, and blue. Then, everything flipped. Around 2018, a new era started. Giannis took 2 straight MVPs. Jokić followed with his own back-to-back. Embiid grabbed one. Jokić added another. And then Shea, another Canadian, stepped into the spotlight. Suddenly, the MVP leaderboard looked more like a World Cup lineup than the NBA one. Here's what's wild. For nearly a decade, international players barely made the top 5, maybe one here and there. But after 2020, that number shot up fast. In some seasons, it's basically all international players. Americans didn't just lose control of the MVP trophy, they started disappearing from the race altogether. Back in the 2000s, guys like Nash and Dirk were seen as cool guests at an American party. Now, the guests took over the DJ booth, the bar, the stage, and they're the ones holding the trophy at the end of the night. From 2018 to 2025, 7 of the last 8 MVPs were born outside the US. That's not a trend anymore. That's a takeover. Look at it from a distance, and the pattern hits hard. The first half of these 2 decades was classic American dominance. The second half, a global explosion that completely redefined the league. Giannis is bending physics. Jokić is turning the game into an orchestra. Luka is breaking the superstar athlete mold. Shea is making the mid-range look cool again. And Wemby is rewriting what's even possible on a basketball court. And the craziest part? The wave isn't slowing down. Every new star sounds a little less American, a little more global. The MVP trophy, once the ultimate American flex, now feels like a reminder that the rest of the world already caught up. So how did it happen? Why are international players suddenly owning one of the biggest awards in sports? To get that answer, we've got to dig into how they're trained and why their system builds superstars that thrive where many American players still stumble. But real quick, thanks for watching and supporting Ball Stories. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to like, drop comment below, and subscribe. It really keeps us going. Now let's get back into it. So, how did we get here? How did the NBA go from seeing international MVPs as rare once-in-a-decade surprises to a point where the whole top 5 feels like the Olympic opening ceremony? The truth is simple. The rest of the world didn't just catch up to American basketball. They started building players differently. That shift in how players are trained is exactly what's showing up at the top of the MVP race. Outside the US, basketball is treated like a craft, not a performance. In Europe, coaches don't care about fancy highlights. They care about doing things the right way. Miss a defensive rotation, you're getting benched, not celebrated. Kids are taught spacing, timing, ball movement, footwork, and decision-making, the core skills that make someone like Jokić look like he's running the court with a remote control. Over there, the game is about thinking, not just reacting, and the environment, way tougher. Luka was battling grown men at 16. Giannis was learning how to survive in small gyms in Greece before he ever learned how to dominate. International players grow up earning everything. No protection, no height, no special treatment. When you've been elbowed by a 30-something vet who's fighting for his paycheck, NBA physicality feels almost easy. FIA basketball also shapes them in ways most fans don't notice. The court is smaller, the play is more physical, and the rules force players to think instead of relying on athleticism. There's no defensive 3 seconds, no wide open lanes to coast through. You either build high IQ or you fade out. So when guys like Jokić or Luka enter the NBA and suddenly have more space and freedom, it's like they've unlocked a cheat code. They might not look fast, but they're always 2 steps ahead mentally. And then there's ego, or rather, the lack of it. In the US, kids are often hyped as the next big thing before they can even drive. Overseas, no one's famous until they've earned it. There's no mixtape machine, no highlight economy. You learn how to work, not how to go viral. Their culture builds patience, discipline, and maturity, traits that last longer than hype ever will. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the perfect example of this new wave. He's not the flashiest guard, but every move he makes looks deliberate, efficient, and under control. Even though he's Canadian, he plays with that same international mindset. Less show, more substance. Put it all together, and the picture becomes obvious. International players don't just arrive in the NBA with skill. They come with structure, toughness, and elite basketball IQ. While the American system is chase highlights, branding, and hype, the rest of the world is doubled down on the things that actually win. That so-called boring stuff built Jokić, Luka, Giannis, Shai, Embiid, and now Wemby. A new generation of stars who didn't just join the league, they completely redefined it. When you look at today's MVP race, it almost feels unfair. Not unfair in a the refs robbed us kind of way. Unfair in a how did the rest of the world produce 5 completely different monsters at the exact same time way. Each of these guys represents a different style, a different personality, a different basketball philosophy. But somehow, they all ended up standing on the same mountaintop, looking down at the rest of the league.
Take Nikola Jokić, for example. Jokić plays basketball the way a grandmaster plays chess, calmly, slowly, like he already knows the ending and is just letting everyone else figure it out the long way. He's not fast, he's not flashy, he's not jumping out of the gym, and somehow he still makes the entire NBA look like it's buffering while he moves in perfect clarity. He controls every possession like a conductor leading the orchestra, except the orchestra is made of elite athletes and he's the only one not sweating. It's almost creepy how easy the game is for him. Then there's Luka Dončić, the Slovenian prodigy who looks like he rolled out of bed, got a coffee, and casually dropped 35 points without even warming up. Luka doesn't rely on athleticism. If anything, he's proof that you don't need to jump high when you can read the game faster than anyone else in the building. His footwork, timing, and ability to manipulate defenders are straight up surgical. Watching Luka destroy a defense feels like watching someone dismantle IKEA furniture. Calm, methodical, somehow both elegant and disrespectful at the same time. And of course, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the human cheat code. If Jokić is chess and Luka is geometry, Giannis is pure physics. He's the only player in the league who makes a full-court transition look like a casual morning jog. Giannis doesn't just play through defenders, he erases them. And what makes him terrifying isn't just his body, but his work ethic. He plays like he's still trying to make the team. There's something incredibly humbling and awesome and frightening about a superstar with that mentality. Now we get the Victor Wembanyama, who feels less like a basketball player and more like a prototype someone accidentally released into production. Wemby is 7 foot everything, but moves like he accidentally used the guard animation pack in real life. His defensive presence is already generational, his offensive ceiling is terrifying, and the wildest part, he's just getting started. Watching Wemby highlights sometimes feels like watching leaked footage from the future, like you're not supposed to see this yet. And then there's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the quiet storm from Canada. Shai isn't loud, he isn't flashy, he doesn't chase viral moments, but he is brutally, beautifully efficient. His mid-range game is a masterpiece. His pace is hypnotic, his defense is elite. He plays like someone who sees the game a half second earlier than everyone else, but doesn't feel the need to brag about it. Shai is the perfect example of the modern superstar. Smooth, thoughtful, disciplined, deadly. What ties all these players together isn't just their talent. It's the fact that none of them grew up inside the traditional American basketball pipeline. They weren't raised on AAU culture. They weren't conditioned to chase highlights. They became who they are through entirely different basketball worlds, each one emphasizing IQ, toughness, fundamentals, and real competition. And the result is a generation of international players who don't just compete with the Americans, they consistently outperform them. Now that we know why international stars shine so bright, there's a tough question hanging over American basketball. Does the U.S. have a development problem? The honest answer? Kinda. Not everywhere, not for everyone, but the warning signs are stacking up. For years, the U.S. system has run on hype. AAU tournaments, mixtapes, viral highlights, and early next big thing labels. It's flashy, it's fun, but somewhere along the line, the fundamentals got lost. Instead of learning how to read defenses, young players learn how to cross someone up. Instead of focusing on spacing or movement, they chase clips for social media. And instead of getting tested by grown professionals, they play in systems that reward showmanship more than smart play. The outcome? A generation of insane athletes who sometimes struggle with the little things.
The stuff that separates stars from legends. Timing, footwork, patience, discipline. The things Jokić uses to toy with defenders, Luka uses to freeze entire teams, and Shai uses to drop 30 while barely breaking a sweat. It's not that American talent is fading. The US still has the deepest pool of players in the world, but the absolute elite, the ones competing for MVPs, are increasingly coming from systems that build the brain before the body. Overseas, players are taught to think the game first, play it second. And there's another piece to it, the physical grind. In America, kids play too many games too soon, under heavy pressure, and often without proper rest. It leads to burnout, injuries, and bad habits. Overseas, they play fewer games, but against tougher, older competition, with coaches focused on development instead of exposure. That's why those international stars move smarter, last longer, and stay consistent. This doesn't mean American basketball is in trouble, but it does mean it's missing something. The hype often grows faster than the skill, and other countries with fewer resources and less spotlight are somehow creating more complete players. That's the real twist. The US still runs basketball culture, but lately, the best finished products, they're coming from everywhere else. So what happens next? If this keeps up, the NBA's future might look completely different. Maybe even like a new era where the face of basketball doesn't sound American at all. Is the NBA turning into a European league? Not exactly, but it's definitely looking that way. The league is still American in every major sense. The cities, the money, the culture, the legacy. Every hooper around the world still dreams of making it. For the first time, international players aren't just nice additions or supporting roles. They're the ones leading teams, breaking records, and rewriting what greatness looks like in today's game. The world ain't just watching the NBA anymore, it's running it. And honestly, that's a win for basketball. The league has never been more exciting or diverse. You got Giannis bulldozing through defenses like a Greek superhero. Jokić playing chess while everyone else plays checkers. Luka making defenders dance with his footwork. Shai moving like the game's in slow motion. And Wemby, he's straight out of a video game glitch. That's what happens when the entire world starts hooping. Players overseas are coming in sharper, smarter, and more disciplined than ever. Meanwhile, US talent is still strong. It's just that the rest of the world finally caught up. Now it's on American development to evolve and learn from what's working overseas. The NBA isn't becoming the European League, but the best of the best, they're definitely making long-distance calls after games. If things keep going this way, the 2030 MVP ceremony might look more like a Eurobasket celebration in Madison Square Garden. The global era of basketball has officially arrived and is making the game better than ever. So, is the NBA turning into a European league? Not really. The arenas are still in America, the snacks are still American, and fans still scream, "Let's go!" like their lives depend on it. But when you look at who's actually dominating the league, you start thinking that the MVP speech might need subtitles. These days, the top names sound like an atlas. Jokić from Serbia, Luka from Slovenia, Giannis from Greece, Shai in Canada, and Wemby looking like he was built in a French lab. Meanwhile, American stars are side-eyeing the leaderboard like, hold up, when did this happen? What's wild is that it all feels normal now. International players aren't just joining the party, they're running the place and locking the door behind them. The NBA didn't exactly go European, but the MVP race, yeah, that's another story. And honestly, it's pretty great. The next big thing could come from a cold gem in Canada, a court in Africa, or some hidden spot in Europe. The NBA is still America's stage, but these global stars, they're the ones still in the show. Okay, now your turn. What do you think about the story we just went through? Does it reshape the way you look at today's NBA? And do you think this trend will keep growing? Let me know in the comments. I really want to hear what you think. Thanks for watching.